Watching dealing room and must say the markets are holding on despite the negative cues. It is down about just under 1% for the Sensex and Nifty, but considering that the Asian markets are down over 2%, it's not bad at all. Yesterday, of course, we saw a flurry of activity around the energy waiver for the ban on supplies to India as far as nuclear fuels goes, and we saw a whole host of stocks climb up on that. One such stock was HCC, Hindustan Construction. In fact, to put it in perspective, HCC already does the civil works for the nuclear project at Kundakulam, and joining us now to put in perspective what this waiver really means for Indian companies and what the Indo-US nuclear deal would mean for companies, we have Ajit Gulabchand, the CMD of Hindustan Construction. Mr. Gulabchand, thank you so much for joining us. What is the opportunity for HCC if the Indo-US nuclear deal becomes a reality, and of course with this energy waiver?
Well, with the NSG group clearing the case, and then there's still to pass the Congress, I think with all these things happening, it would be at least 12 to 18 months before the entire deal becomes operational. So by that time, I think once it becomes operational, it is going to have an enormous amount of fallout. First of all, India's nuclear program will get a boost. Today we were looking at doing about 35,000 megawatts of power through nuclear power by 2020. Out of which about 6,000 is already underway. So which means maybe we will do only 20,000 megawatts, but that is not the issue. The main thing is that this opens out the possibility so that by the middle of this century, we can even look at 300,000 megawatts of electricity through nuclear power, which is a huge expansion. Even now, even with the 20,000 megawatts you are discussing, annual order book, annual requirement of almost 12,000 crores of rupees from nuclear power, both construction as well as equipment. Now what this means here is that there is the opportunity in this area is suddenly opened up. And in this, HCC, for example, is getting geared not only to expand its ability to build faster and more nuclear power stations in the civil area, but going up the value chain in order to do certain elements, components, certain high technology, high precision components that a nuclear power plant requires. Because once you set up the facilities to do that, to service that, then you have the ability to also to service what this cooperation will open out even more. Right. It is also a defense cooperation of sorts, and I think this will be an enormous opening. So we're looking forward to it, but I think it will be about 12 to 18 months before it gets operationalized, and really it is the second decade of this century that is going to see the real impact of it, and a much larger impact thereafter.
Right. If the benefits will start accruing, say 12 to 18 months, in HCC, what is the preparation for that? Are you looking at capacity expansion to make those equipments and get the wherewithal to make those big projects?
See, our whole first philosophy would be to expand our ability to construct more nuclear plants at a given time. Number two would be to make tie-ups with various companies like Westinghouse, Arriva, etc., who are involved in nuclear power already today, and to be able to build tie-ups and joint ventures in order to cater to the market. Number three is to look at those components which are high precision as well as high technology, which we will need to make if you want to go up the whole value chain in doing as much balance of plant, engineering, procurement and construction supplies to the Nuclear Power Corporation. So I think with this in mind, we really have to go up the value chain, expand our activity to produce the civil construction for nuclear power. This is what we are currently undertaken. We were doing it, but we had slowed down waiting for this to happen. So I think we will use this next 18 months or so to build these bridges.
Sure. Mr. Gulabchand, have you worked out any sort of rough numbers as to how much investment you would need to put in, say, over the next 18 to 24 months? Yesterday I was talking to L&T and they were talking about the fact that they would probably pump in 3,000 crores over the next 3 years or so. Do you have any ballpark sort of assessment, just taking off from Mini's question, as to how you would go about deploying funds?
No, I see L&T already has a plant, etc. So as far as we are concerned, we will first expand our ability to construct. So that will not involve too much extra capital expenditure. But in addition to that, in order to engage ourselves to be able to go up the value chains, once we have ascertained the kind of things that we would be requiring and those areas which we would be acquiring for the purpose of manufacture, fabrication and supply, then once we've assessed that, we would be in the position. But I would say somewhere in the vicinity of 1,000 to 2,000 crores would be the investment required.
Sure. So would you say that while you are making these investments in these currently already challenging times with respect to the